Hello everyone. Welcome to the Ecclesia. Today's video is about a brother from the United States who had an accident and time traveled to the future in the year 2038. He saw what's coming and how we should prepare for it. It is my hope and prayer that you watch this video to the end. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel as you watch. Remain blessed. As I sat in the driver's seat of my car, I could feel my heart racing. Suddenly, I heard a loud noise, and the next thing I knew, I was being thrown around as my car careened out of control. The last thing I remember before everything went black was the sound of metal crunching and glass shattering. As I lay there, I could feel my body shutting down. I knew that my time on Earth was coming to an end. Suddenly, I felt like I was pulled out of my body and into the darkness. As I floated in the darkness, I saw a bright light in the distance. I felt compelled to move towards it, and as I got closer, I saw that it was a doorway. I walked through the doorway and found myself in a strange and unfamiliar place. I soon realized that I was in the future, in the year 2038. The world was in the midst of a great lockdown, unlike anything I had ever seen before. People were trapped in their homes, and the streets were empty. Businesses were shuttered, and the economy was in ruins. I saw the hopelessness in people's eyes and felt a deep sense of sadness. I didn't see anything that gave me hope. It was a dire situation, and I knew that something had to change. As I looked around, I saw that the world was in chaos. Each country was struggling to survive on its own, and there was no cooperation between nations. I knew many things were wrong. The world was in the midst of a great lockdown, unlike anything I had ever seen before. People were trapped in their homes, and the streets were empty. Businesses were shuttered, and the economy was in ruins. But what was more concerning was that I saw country against country preparing for war. Rivalry and mistrust between nations had reached its peak, and it seemed that the world was on the brink of collapse. I saw the hopelessness in people's eyes and felt a deep sense of sadness. I didn't see anything that gave me hope. It was a dire situation. I saw the U.S. Army and Russian Army preparing for war. Tensions between the two nations were at an all-time high, and it seemed that a devastating conflict was inevitable. I saw tanks and other military vehicles being mobilized, and I heard the sounds of fighter jets in the sky. I knew that this was a crucial moment in history, and that the future of humanity was at stake. I could see that the world was on the brink of destruction. As I continued to observe the dire situation, I saw the government trying to create a single leader to govern over the entire world. They believed that a unified leader would be able to take swift action to alleviate the suffering of the people, and they were making progress towards a better future. But just as quickly as the idea of a single leader emerged, I saw the dangers of it as well. I saw how this leader would have an immense amount of power and control over the world, and how easy it would be for them to abuse it. I saw how it could lead to more conflict instead of resolving it. As I continued to observe the dire situation, I saw another great virus like COVID-19 sweeping across the globe. People were getting sick at an alarming rate, and hospitals were overwhelmed with patients. I saw the fear and panic in people's eyes as they struggled to understand what was happening. I saw the healthcare system struggling to keep up with the demand and the death toll rising. This virus was even more deadly than the previous one. It was more contagious and had a higher mortality rate. As I continued to observe the dire situation, I saw many terrible things. People were dying in large numbers, hospitals were overwhelmed, and people were struggling to access basic necessities such as food and medicine. I saw governments struggling to keep up with the demands of the crisis and some leaders taking advantage of the situation for personal gain. I saw widespread poverty and unemployment, with many people struggling to make ends meet. I saw communities and families torn apart, and people living in fear and uncertainty. I saw the environment being destroyed, natural resources being depleted, and wildlife facing extinction. I saw the climate change worsening, causing natural disasters and displacement of communities. I saw racism, discrimination, and violence against marginalized groups. I saw a lack of empathy and compassion among some individuals, and a rising sense of hopelessness and despair among many others. I saw many terrible things and also in African countries. I saw the healthcare systems in some African countries being overwhelmed and people dying due to lack of medical resources and treatment. I saw widespread famine and food insecurity in many African countries, with people going hungry and malnourished. I saw many African countries facing economic collapse, with businesses shutting down and people losing their jobs. I saw a lack of access to education in many African countries, with children missing out on their right to education. I saw many African countries facing water scarcity and poor sanitation, which led to the spread of disease. I saw a rise in conflict and violence in some African countries, with people living in fear and insecurity. I saw many African countries facing displacement and loss of homes due to natural disasters and climate change. I saw many natural disasters happening around the world. I saw devastating hurricanes and typhoons causing widespread destruction and displacement of communities. I saw severe droughts and water shortages in many regions, leading to food insecurity and famine. I saw massive wildfires destroying forests and wildlife habitats and causing air pollution. I saw devastating floods causing loss of homes and infrastructure and leading to the spread of disease. I saw rising sea levels causing coastal erosion and flooding in low-lying areas. I saw extreme heat waves and cold spells causing health problems and loss of life. I saw melting of polar ice caps and glaciers leading to rising sea levels and changes in weather patterns. I knew that this was not the future that humanity deserved. After seeing all this, I felt myself being pulled back into my body and opened my eyes. I realized that I had come back to life. I would like to advise people to always be prepared for the future and to be ready for any kind of crisis. It is important to be informed, to be compassionate, and to take action to make a positive impact on the world. We must come together to solve the problems facing humanity and to work towards a better future for all. My name is Josh and I am from the United States. That's all for this video. Let's see your comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in our next video. Love you much.